What's up, guys? Jim Harbaugh is officially going to the NFL. And, I want to talk about that because I think we knew it was going to happen. Let's just be honest. I think a lot of Michigan fans, including myself, would have been very shocked to see him come back. Because let's think about this, okay? 3 straight wins against Ohio State. That leads to 3 straight Big Ten titles. That eventually leads to the national championship. He's done everything he said he wanted to do. He's brought Michigan back to being relevant, to being a power. And I don't care what you guys say about, the Buckeye fans say, oh, next year. I do love this from Ohio State. They know this is the year. Michigan lost Harbaugh. We got to spend money on the players to get them in. Buy them any way we can to get them to play for us for this year, just so Michigan can lose to us again. Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute of the Buckeyes. I don't really care. I've always said this. I said 2024 season, 2025, like that year, is going to be a little bit of a drop-off for us because I knew going into this coming season that we just had, this past season, I knew we were into all in or nothing. I knew this was going to happen. And I knew we were not going to lose to Ohio State. I knew we were going to win the Big Ten title. And I was hoping we were going to win the national title. We did all that. And here's the thing with Michigan. If you're like this, any good program that's like this, and not like, it's like that, right? And not like this. So if you're going like this, you're a great program. I expect Michigan to probably have maybe a couple losses this year. I don't think we're going to lose to Ohio State again. But I do expect a couple losses. And that's just because I do think we're going to, let's face it, guys. We're going to be breaking in a new quarterback, whoever it might be. We're going to lose a lot of pieces. The offense is just going to look completely different. Defensively, we're going to look basically the same. I know we're losing some guys in defense. I get that. But we also have some guys returning. Our secondary is going to be great. Linebacker core is going to be great. Our defensive front is still going to be great. So I'm not worried about the defense at all. We're still going to be good. I do think we're going to promote from within. That's another thing that, like, Michigan fans, we knew Harbaugh was eventually going to leave, and I felt like, hey, it's now or never. And so the fact that he's going to the Chargers, good for him. But I think the more concerning thing that we were worried about is, well, who's next? And Sharon Moore just makes the most sense. There has been a culture and family established within Michigan. Can you imagine? I don't get the Brian Kelly stuff. I really don't. But can you imagine Brian Kelly coming to Michigan, walking in front of that team and saying, all right, guys, this is how we're going to do it. And they're all like, we just did it our way. What do you mean we're changing? He hasn't won a national title. So, why would we listen to you? We know what to do here, right? It just wouldn't make sense for the Brian Kelly thing. I don't get that. But Sharon Moore just makes the most sense. Now, Harbaugh is most likely taking Jesse Minter with him. I can't imagine. I'd be shocked if Jesse Minter stays. And I know Buckeye fans are like, oh, thank God. I love when the Buckeye fans laughed so hard when Jesse Minter came from Vanderbilt. They go, wow, you got the defensive coordinator from Vanderbilt. Man, if only you guys had just shut your mouth. Just shut your mouth prior to that. It wouldn't be as funny, but it's freaking hilarious. So now he'll go to the NFL. They'll probably promote from within to keep that same defense established. Probably have maybe a co-D coordinators or just one main guy be the D coordinator. Sharon Moore probably promotes Kurt Campbell to OC to keep the offense going. The biggest thing is you want to get all this done really quick so you don't, you probably lose a couple guys at transfer portal. Maybe a couple guys decommit. I don't know. But you want to get this established. Okay, this is it. Sharon Moore to go, I'm Michigan. He'd be the guy from Michigan. As long as it's kind of like, the thing with that like David Shaw, when Harbaugh left Stanford, David Shaw came in and tried to keep that momentum, which it did sustain for a little bit, but then it just kind of died off. So that's going to be the task for Sherrone Moore. Can you keep that momentum going and not have it die off? I'm not saying that, the Harbaugh effect is once he leaves, the program falls apart. That's not true. It's just that sometimes the great coaches aren't able to sustain that. And so I do just think David Shaw is still a good coach, but it just did not work out. But Sherrone Moore, he clearly has the respect of the players. Like, he's a young coach. He is a huge reason for the turnaround at Michigan. Huge reason. He changed the offensive line, made the offensive line better in 2021, obviously 22 and 23. Like, he has been the catalyst behind Michigan's turnaround. So, I'm looking forward to seeing. I mean, if it's not Sherrone Moore, I don't know who it would be. Like, I just don't look at me and say, well, what outside? Like, no, it's got to be Sherrone Moore. Like, he took over at the hardest point of the season for Michigan, of the regular season. Penn State, then Maryland, and then Ohio State. He outcoached Ryan Day, the head coach of Ohio State. He outcoached James Franklin, the head coach of Penn State. He went into Penn State less than 24 hours notice and was like, you're the guy, be the head coach. And he ran the ball over 30 times to finish the game, to beat Penn State, because he knew that team ain't stopping us if we just run this ball. And they did. In Ohio State, he outcoached Ryan Day. He was the more aggressive coach. He was the smarter coach. He did everything better than Ryan Day did that day. Everything better. So, going to him just makes all the sense in the world. It just does. And I know people want to say, well, he was just an acting coach. He was interim. He's still the play. Like, he still had to make decisions. Like, you are realizing when they are an acting head coach, you still have to make decisions during the game. Do I go for it on fourth down? Do we punt it? How aggressive do I want to be on offense, and defense? You still have to make those calls. He's got the experience to do that. Again, there's no one on the staff. I doubt Mike Hart would even be considered, but maybe he gets promoted to OC. I don't know. But there's no one on the staff. Like, Jesse Minter may be the only other guy you're like, well, maybe he should take over. But I think Harbaugh is like, I'm going to put together a sweet package for you to come with me to the NFL. So, and Minter's been a guy, he's always wanted to go back to the NFL. And those that forget, he was with the NFL at one point at the Ravens. So, it's sad to see Harbaugh go, but it's not like he's leaving us. What's the word I'm looking for? He's not leaving us in a point where we're like, well, what the heck? We didn't accomplish anything, Jim. Thanks for coming. No, he accomplished what he set out to do. We got the national title. That's ours. No one's taking it away from us. The NCAA is not taking it away from us. Everyone I love the comments of cheaters. It's like, what were we doing against Penn State, Maryland, Ohio State, Iowa, Washington, Alabama? Like, what were we doing in those games? What were we doing? Because the last point I'll say is that when people say, well, why did you need to cheat if we did? Again, it's all alleged. I have no idea. The game. It's a good thing that the news came out when it did, because the games before, all I heard from every freaking person, well, who has Michigan played? They haven't played anybody. Their schedule's so weak. So what does it matter? The point of the schedule that you guys thought that stuff was happening, you guys could have coached the team. I could have coached the team. They were playing that soft of the schedule in your guys' minds. In everyone's minds, it said the schedule is so weak. They play the soft schedule. So what does it matter what happened then? What matters is when the news broke, they played Michigan State, Purdue, Penn State, Maryland, Ohio State, Washington, Alabama, and Iowa. All these games after the news broke and still won. You have nothing to say. Enjoy it. Michigan fans, enjoy the victory of national title. I still am. I know people want to look ahead. And they want to say, well, we're going to beat Michigan next year. That's great. That's fantastic. It's still January of 2024. Enjoy this. You want to know when the national title happened? January 8th, 2024. It's only been a couple weeks. I'm enjoying this thing. It's great. You know why? Because not everyone, there are all these other teams in the country that can't say what we did this year. They can't say what we did. They cannot say, what did you do for the 2023-2024 season? One team can say what they did, and it's Michigan. Won the national title. Buckeye fans, enjoy it. It's sweet. Go Blue.